Hello everyone, Joe here from Snake Draft FPL and welcome to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. Looking forward to game week 10, we have picked out a couple of players in each position with good fixtures that you could realistically pick up in your draft league. If you find this useful, please do hit the subscribe button and like the video as it really does help us grow the channel. I'm joined today by Dave from the Snake Draft League, who is at DFFDaveFPL on Twitter, who's going to talk through the picks with me. Without any further ado, let's get stuck into the first pick. Okay, I'm joined today by Dave from the Snake Draft League. And firstly, we're going to talk about goalkeepers and his pick. Well, I do all the picks, but his pick this week from my picks is Pope. Go ahead then, Dave. What do you think about Nick Pope this week?
So, personally, Nick Pope's brilliant at you get to your save points, and I think the trouble is with Burnley now, they get to a point this season where, well, this is actually the better side of their season. They always start really slow, always sluggish, and then they soon get a run of fixtures together. And I think this next few fixtures they've got is their next run of fixtures. I think they've got Chelsea game week 11, but after that, before Chelsea, they've got Brentford, and then they've got like a nice, they've got Crystal Palace after that. They've got a good, nice little running, and you get your save points. Even if you concede, you still get your save points, which then can add on to bonus points.
Yeah. Agreed. What do you think of this fixture this week, Brentford at home? I mean, Brentford look decent, but they're definitely better at home than they are away.
Yeah. I own Tony, so I would stay away from Burnley defenders in my team. I don't want playing them against each other, but Brentford don't score too many goals. They are chipping the goals in. They've scored a goal today, but they're not. I do think Burnley. But they come out of the game against Southampton a bit more positive than Southampton did, so I think they might start picking up a little bit more.
Yeah, agreed.
I think Brentford's not a bad shout for them.
Yeah, I think that Brentford may struggle a bit more against Burnley, who are just going to sit in as well.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to the like high press that Brentford like to play with isn't going to be as effective against a team that doesn't really come out as much. The keeper I've gone for this week is Ben Foster. I'm not one to back Watford defence generally because they're awful. But if you're stuck in bigger leagues, especially in FPL Draft, where everyone has two keepers, there's not going to be many free. And I actually think Saints at home is a decent fixture for Foster. It's tough with keepers because if you kind of get stuck with who you draft a lot of the time. But yeah, Foster, Saints at home. Saints aren't exactly brimming with goals. And I think if Watford keep a clean sheet this side of Christmas, this is probably one of the fixtures you're going to look at. So if you're really stuck for a keeper this week, I don't think he's the worst pick, especially if you're in a big league and a lot of the half decent keepers are gone. Okay, then moving on to defenders. On the same theme of Nick Pope, we got Tarkowski, Brentford at home. Similar sort of story to Pope, really. He is who he is. We all know Tarkowski by now. I do think, like I said, Brentford at home is a decent fixture for Burnley, just because I think it kind of plays into their hands how they play, and they're going to want to look to tighten up. Tarkowski as well, also bit of a danger from set pieces, and he's going to start, so it's not really a mind blowing pick, but sometimes you just got to pick someone up in a fixture like that and hope he gets the points. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, I think you're bang on. He's had one goal this season, and he's one of them go-to defenders. If you need to pick up a Burnley defender on the waiver wire, it's either going to be Tarkowski and me. And me's had issues this year, injury issues, I think it is. So if there's anyone defensively and Nick Pope's taken, it's definitely worth taking up Tarkowski. I think he provides an attacking threat as well.
Yeah,
not just
definitely.
defensively.
Agreed. Next pick, you're going to talk about Roman Saiss of Wolves. What do you think about him this week?
Yeah, Saiss is another one where he's quite. He'll get you some attacking returns as well. He's had one goal this season, and he seems
just after I dropped him.
Just after you dropped him, yeah, and he seems to chip in every year. He seems to get 3 or 4 goals a year, and he seems to go unnoticed sometimes. Everyone sort of goes to the Codys of the world, and Cody doesn't score. Scored 2 goals, 2 Premier League goals.
Until I play against him.
Yeah. So yeah, Sice, he's not a bad pickup, and he's a hold as well. I think he's got some decent fixtures after Everton. So he's not just a 1 week pickup. You can definitely keep him for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely agree. Wolves have got good fixtures for months, basically. So I just think they look like a good out. I mean, I've got a fucking load of their players in my team, so it shows what I think. But yeah, I just think they look like a really safe, secure outfit. They're not going to surprise you, really. I don't think. And Everton have got a lot of injuries, haven't they? At the moment, they're really struggling.
Yeah,
Richarlison looks like he's going to be back, which is a
I think the Corey injury has killed them, especially against Watford. I think that they've got nothing in the central midfield now. It's not strong enough.
Yeah, completely.
And I think teams can just play right through them now. So Watford scoring 5 goals against them is going to say it all, doesn't it?
Exactly that. Next up, the final defender pick that I've gone for this week is Diego Llorente of Leeds. Now, again, I'm not generally a fan of Leeds' defence, but they do look much, much better when he's in the side. And the last couple of games, they have actually looked okay. I mean, Saints could have scored more against them, and if they're a bit more clinical, they probably should have scored more against them. But they looked okay this week, just gone as well against Wolves. They didn't look too ropey, and the fixture's Norwich away. And what can you say about Norwich? They just look awful. So basically any fixture, I'm going to look to target them. And Diego Llorente is definitely Leeds' best defender. He's decent on bonus, decent attacking from set pieces as well. And Norwich look terrible defending set pieces. So I think he's definitely, the only concern with him is he's a bit injury prone, but he's looking fit, so that shouldn't matter for this week. Can you see Norwich getting anything against Leeds?
No. It's one of them where Norwich are one of the probably 2 or 3 this year whipping boys, and if it's a game, whoever's playing Norwich, if it's one of them where if they're going to get a clean sheet, it's going to be against Norwich, whether it's home or away. Like, Norwich just do not look at the races at all, as they do every time they come to the Premier League. They get a goal or 2 every now and then, but I think I'd be picking up. I'd try to pick up a Leeds defender this week. I think Llorente is free now, isn't he?
Yeah, Llorente is free.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think that Norwich fixture, every time I look to the waivers now, who's playing Norwich, and I'll be targeting their defenders every single week. They are not good.
It's just a no-brainer. Like, it's just 3 points. Like that.
And then again, Llorente, after they've got Leicester and Spurs, and following that, they've got a nice run of fixtures after that. So you can bench him, and then you bring him back in for game week sort of 12, 13 onwards.
All right, then, on to midfielders. The first man we're going to talk about looked very exciting on Friday night. And I think surely it's time he starts a Premier League game, Dave. Leon Bailey, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Leon Bailey. I think I would like to have had him in the draft. I was very surprised. I know he's had injuries as well, but I was surprised he's not even started a game this season. Yeah. He's got 2 goals, 2 assists, all from the bench. He changed the game for Villa. I didn't get anything out of it, but he changed the game for Villa on Friday night against Arsenal. He does make that difference, and I just can't see him not starting on the weekend. There's not a chance he doesn't start. He is. Yeah, I don't. It must be on a low amount of minutes as well. He's not even come on for a long period of time. It's just he gets a cameo here and there, and he's got some big things to come with him. I think. Good player.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Bailey. He's he's very, very talented in me. Like, you watch him for 10 seconds, and sometimes you just see a player and think, they're absolute bags of skill. And he's one of those players. I'm astounded he's not started. Yeah, I think it's mainly down to the system they were fucking fanning about with.
Yeah, I mean, could drop Watkins, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and
funny one.
I just think the system they're trying to play that 5 at the back for a few weeks, and it just doesn't work. And I get it because they want to play Ings and Watkins together, but Ings is quite comfortable dropping into the number 10, and Watkins is comfortable on the left. So I think you can definitely make it work. I can't see there's any way he doesn't start this weekend.
They've got West Ham as well, and West Ham, they kept a clean sheet today, but they haven't been great defensively either.
No,
so
I think it's a good fixture for Villa, to be honest. I think this will be a goal fest. I can see a 2-2 or something like that. And speaking of 2-2, your other pick is also in this game, Pablo Fornals. What do you think about him?
I love him simply because he won me the league again. He was another player that won me the league last year. But I think he's the unsung hero a little bit in the attacking sense of West Ham. He does a lot of work. He puts the yards in. He doesn't quite get the numbers that say Antonio does, or even Bowen's got more points than him. But I think he's a nailed on starter every week, and you can't go wrong with getting a nailed on starter in draft. And again, Villa, terrible defensively this season. Not a bad fixture to have. Like I say, goal fest, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the thing with Fornals is, I'd rather have Benrahma, and I'd rather have Bowen, and I'd probably rather have Souček as well.
Yeah.
Chances are all of those are going to be picked. I think the main reason I went for Fornals in this is just because I think he is someone that he's gone in our league, obviously, but in like a smaller league, we're a 12-man. In 10,
he'll definitely
8, he is likely to be free just because he's not that like big name that the other ones are. He's a bit of an unsung hero, like you said. So, I do think there are leagues that he'll be free in, which will definitely pounce on that, I think. He's got 3. His expected goal moment's pretty good. 3 XGI over 3 games, so he's expected a return in 1 in 3. And you can see this is the kind of game he's going to get a return in. So, I think he's a good pick. Lastly, we've got Click for Leeds again. Pick the Norwich fixture. Click, I think, he has gone under the radar a little bit as well. He has been playing number 10 with Bamford out. And in that more attacking role, I think he actually looks better than when I think he kind of struggles playing deep when Rodrigo and Bamford are both ahead of him. But I think even if Bamford's back, I think he'll probably keep his place and Rodrigo drop out, because I just think he is playing well. He's got decent creative numbers. And I think if they actually get a goal scorer back in the side, he might actually pop up with an assist or two, especially against Norwich. They just can't defend.
And I think Norwich they've conceded 2 penalties this season, and Klitsch is at the moment, I think it's between Klitsch and Bamford. Bamford probably won't play, I'm not sure. Klitsch is going to be on penalties next weekend, I would expect. And Norwich, like I say, we can't really say much more about them.
The thing is, like, watching them against Chelsea this week was just brutal, wasn't it? Like, and obviously Leeds are no Chelsea, but they just can't keep up. They're not quick enough to close down the space, and Leeds are the type of team that will exploit that. So, I do think that is a very good fixture this week. Okay, then moving on to forwards. First up, I'll take my boy Alexander Lacazette. Leicester away this week, not the easiest fixture, but I think sometimes when a player for a decent side looks like he's going to start, especially up front, you've just got to pick him up. And I think Lacazette definitely suits the way Arsenal are trying to play at the moment. Just having someone with a bit more hold-up play than Aubameyang really helps us as a team. And I think he played well against Villa, and I think I can't see a reason why he won't keep his place. I think he works really well with the likes of Smith Rowe and Saka, who just want someone to bounce off of. He is quite good at that, and I can see him picking up assists. He's a lethal finisher. He always has been. Absolutely rockets the ball. So, I think Lacazette's a decent pickup this week. What do you think, Dave? Do you think he'll start?
I think he'll start. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed in the last sort of 3 or 4 years he's had. Really, I thought when he came over, I always thought he'd be banging. But to be honest, he's not really been one of those players that you really want to pick in a draft. Like when you get down to sort of 3rd, 4th round, you think, right, I'm gonna have to go for him now. But he's not one of those elite players like Aubameyang, and
he's got Gabriel Jesus vibes, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, and it's frustrating because he's got it in him. I think he will play, and Leicester again have not been great defensively.
No,
they couldn't keep a clean sheet again today, and they've got Leicester then Watford. So Watford, it's another hold. It's one of them. Once someone gets on a bit of form, if they're on the waiver wire, you pick them up, you capture that form, and then you keep hold of them for a few weeks. If you can get there early, and if he's available, definitely worth picking up.
Yeah, completely agree. Like you said, if he starts Leicester and plays well, then you can be pretty confident he'll start Watford, and then that's an absolutely fantastic fixture. Okay, then the final man on our list today, no surprises, he's in. I'd actually put him on, and I promise you this is true, I put him on this list before they played Everton this week. But he did score a hat-trick, which kind of actually annoyed me because I thought, now everyone's going to be saying, well, what an obvious pick. Josh King, talk to us then, Dave. Think he's decent?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I mean, we all laugh at Nath dropping him because there's strikers, especially in the 12-man league, is a few and far between. Unless you're going to drop him for a better striker or a really good defender or midfielder, I'm not even sure he dropped him for, but he's not worth dropping.
Daka,
you sit him on the bench. I mean, he's got an assist today, and I wound him up by picking him up because I just put that in the chat just to see if someone picked him up. But he's not going to start Premier League games. But Josh King, he's going to start. He's starting up front now. He's got, I think he had 3 assists before yesterday. He's going to score a hat trick. You know, he's their number one guy. He was brilliant when he played for Bournemouth a few years ago. I think it might have been a little bit of emotional issues there where he just scored 3 goals against Everton. He was on loan last year.
Never got a start for him, did he, in the league?
He's a bit pissed off in the last year. So I do think he's worth picking up. I mean, like you say, you've got 12-man, 8-man league, 12, 10, 8-man league. You've got strikers that are just few and far between. So if he's available,
snap him up.
Who have they got this week?
They have got Saints at home.
Saints at home. So if he's available at Saints at home, it's definitely worth picking up.
Yeah,
I think I can't say that's even a clean sheet, to be honest.
That's what I was going to say. I don't love Josh King. I don't know, nothing. He's never really excited me, but he does go through clinical runs where he just can't stop scoring. And if you can pick up on that, then you know you're in good shape. He's actually had 5 big chances this season. I think only 2 of them were in the Everton game, and he's missed the other 3. So it's not like he's not had the chances. He's had 9 shots in the box, and Ranieri is a very attacking manager. So yeah, I just think the chance is going to fall to him. And like, if you're starting up front in the Premier League for a reasonably attacking team, you're going to get chances. So yeah, I just think it's a no-brainer, really. And if he's free in your league, just pick him up. Like, even if you don't rate him that highly, there'll be someone that needs a forward that will trade him for you. Like, that's what I always think about players like that. Like, he's good enough to be on someone's team, so you might as well pick him up and then see who'll take him.
I mean, he's always one of those players you can stick on your bench, and then once his form turns or continues, you put him in your starting lineup. It's just locking that player in, get him out of the waiver wire, because strikers are hard this
season. And sometimes, like, I always think with a player like that, I always look and think, if the person I'm playing against picked him up this week and started him, would I be like, oh God, that's annoying? And if that's the case, I just pick him up, because I just think I wouldn't want the other person to pick him up. And that, this week I picked up Rondon. He's awful, but I just saw that Watford fixture, knew Ben didn't have any forwards, and thought I need to pick him up, because if Ben picks him up and starts him, I'm going to be annoyed.
It's something definitely, yeah. I mean, it's one of them where you could pick him up and you could really take the piss and drop him on the Friday afternoons, and no one picks him up for the weekend. Yeah, exactly. You know, if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to play bullshit tactics, but not a bad player to have though.
No. Okay then, Dave, thanks for coming on with me and talking through the picks. It was very enjoyable. We will see you for the podcast, which will be released a day after this goes live. So make sure you join us for that. And if you enjoyed the video, please share it with the rest of your league as well. No one likes sharing their tips, but at least send it to the guy in your league that hasn't got a clue, because we've all got one. So just give it to the guy that is never knows who to pick up. Just be kind. All right. Thanks, Dave. And we will see you later.
Cheers. See you later. Back in the playoff pitches.